highway from Caborca out to the Mexus-Trinidad. The suburbs are the outside here of Caborca. We're headed southwest at this time. It's about 60 kilometers, about 60 miles, out to the mine site. It's traveling by the little airport. It's a dirt strip on the west side of Caborca. A lot of grapes are grown, a lot of wineries, well, a few wineries, not a lot of them, but a lot of grapes. This is one of the numerous ranches or farms out this direction that grow asparagus. It's quite an impressive farm here. I'm amazed at it every time I drive by it. This is one of the numerous asparagus farms in the area. It's, like I say, there's thousands of acres of the asparagus being grown. And they burn it off in December. And it starts to grow. They can't cut it fast enough. This is approaching the town of Y, Mexico. The reason for Y, there's a road goes to the right up here at a Y that goes to the large Panolas mine. And we'll be going straight ahead to the left to the Mexus-Trinidad joint venture and the little town of Y right ahead of us. This is the town of Y, Mexico. It's in our state. It's about 5-6 miles from the turnoff to go out to the mine. Some new olive trees planted. The Mexus-Trinidad mine lies in the mountains out past there to the far south. I don't know if you can see them, but that's where we're headed. We're on a dirt road, gravel road from here on out. It's about 18 miles from here out to the mine gate, and it'd be a gravel road all the way. About halfway point out to the Mexus-Trinidad from the highway. And we're getting up close now to the canyon that goes into the mine. It's kind of pretty through here. We see desert mule-tailed deer, jackrabbits, a lot of quail, different kinds of animals. More life in here than you imagine. It's a lot of wildlife. Bighorn sheep in the mountains in the background. Approaching the first of the two, three guard gates. There's three of these gates. They're guarded 24 hours a day, around the clock, and these fellows are all professionals. The second gate. This is the third gate. This approaching the first heap leach pad, and the crushing unit is the original crushing circuit, and that one we're in the process of rebuilding at this time. It will be rebuilt probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks, and behind it you'll see a little bit of the test work we've been doing on heap number 3 on top of the pad there. So one of the heap leach pads. This is the north end of one of them. We've got some large squirrels running around here. This is the road up between the heap leach pads for access up between them. Gives us a means of getting up on top of them. And that's some of the crew that handles the leach pads, moves the plumbing and keeps it running properly. There's quite a few of those guys, and they do an excellent job. This is pad 2, and this one has been tested for results, what we expect to have in the future off of this, and some of the tests are quite impressive, a lot better than we expected. And again, all this has to be recrushed. The new screen's for it. That's the next thing that goes on top. This is Sunday, February 3rd, 2013. This is Super Bowl Sunday. I got grandson Paul and Norman helping me today, and the crew from out here at the mine. We got to raise this 30 inches so both products will go through the cone. The fines will go out the bottom. Everything is designed to come around through and out the conveyor belt on the rear, which will mix the product, and we'll be ready to lift it here in about an hour. Meanwhile, I promised Paul and Norman a tailgate party for the Super Bowl.
Here it is.
Yeah, it's carne asada, Super Bowl Sunday, and they're having a tailgate lunch. This is completing raising the screen plant. So both the top products off the screen will go directly to the cone. The undersides will go through the belt you're looking at, under the cone and out the back. They're 42-inch conveyors. This is Thursday, the 14th of February, 2013. We've got the cone crusher screen recirculating, plant rig to recrush the heap and restack it. We'll put it on the pad below that we're going to restack the recrushed material for a little bit. Then we'll make a ramp across to the radio stacker sitting below. That's a telescoping radio stacker capable of 90 feet. So we'll start restacking, bringing the heap up 12 feet here on the end, and we'll continue. There's 2 more conveyors go in there, and we'll continue out to, in the far distance there's a couple of, there's a cat they're putting a blade on, a D8R, and that will be a new heap pad extended out there eventually. But right now, tomorrow, we will be starting to recrush this area here, and this is part of the 2.5 million tons of recrushing that we need to do, that I'm standing on. A lot of work, but it's looking good. Our values are looking good. Our test results are coming back excellent. So looking forward to some good paydays out of this. This is a recrushing operation, so the cats can get to it to push it to the dozer trap. That's the white machine in the center. It goes up the conveyor onto the screen. The screen will separate the fines out the bottom, 3/8 minus. The cone on the other side, the cone crusher takes it down to 1/2 inch, and then it's both introduced and goes out the radial stacker behind us over there for redistribution upon the heap leach. And this is a little bit inconvenient because we're recrushing one pad and on one pad, which our original plan was to recrush the pad that we're standing on and place it onto the pad, but we decided that we had better recrush the rock instead of covering it up with recrushed material, because this pad has got some high values in it for leaching. And all we have to do is take the 2 and 3 inch rock, 1 inch rock, etc. down to 3/8 and 1/2 inch and replace it, fire up the leach, and it's a lot easier than mining fresh ore. So that's what this is all about. The recrushing is begun. We're adjusting everything. At this point, everything's running smooth. We've got to put a little guard on the stinger on the radial stacker. The welders are coming to do that now, but everything's doing real well. You can see the flow. Night crew will be running this 24 hours a day from here on, and this is a good test of the equipment. the number 6 leach pad, which is the smallest one that we have by far, the one we started leaching on, and we've already have pregnant solution headed back into the recovery. This is Saturday, and we should have some results next week as to the recovery from this one. And this is the pad with the test piles on it. I'm about 230 or 40 yards across to where my pickup is, and it's about almost that far the other side of my pickup to pad number 3, which is similar to 6 behind me, and that's our next one to start leaching, and that one will hopefully have as good a recovery as we're getting from this one. Standing on the heap looking down at the pregnant pond, the return coming into the pond from the heap, going through the plant. They have the plant apart at this time, replumbing one of the filter presses. This is their Merrill Crowe recovery system, 1,800 gallons a minute. They're preparing to, probably within the next 3 days, of running some of the solution coming out of pad 6. They're loading these filter presses with, oh, I can't pronounce it properly, Mexus-Trinidad, which is material they load in these filters, and that's what traps the gold once they start pumping the gold through it. What they're doing now is loading the dimatrous earth into these filters, and they have to charge these filters, and once they get these filters charged and a little more solution in the pond, then they'll be ready to start the leaching operation. This is one of the smelting rooms, a series of tilt smelters. Some of the molds that they place it in. They're putting new crucibles in these. Four of those cones, when the furnace is empty, there'll be 4 of them in total poured. Again, that's one of the chunks, about 35 pounds. That's my grandson, Paul. Uh-oh, now he's got some gold in his hands. That's what we've been waiting for, the armored car to haul our material away. They'll take it to take custody of it, and from that point on it's insured. So It's a relief when they see it go into the armored car.